You guys are probably wondering what this is. This is a lighter with a fidget spinner case. I thought that was really cool. But it actually sets us perfectly um, to set up what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, we're talking about intros for magic shows. All right. And so throughout this week, well, this next week, we're going to be putting together a magic show. Okay. And yes, it'll be all effects I've done before, but I will do some original effects that I haven't done before for the challenge to conform to the rules of the challenge. Okay. It'll all be effects we've done before, but this over this course of this next week, we're putting together a magic show. And so tonight, I figured I'd talk about intros. And also, to go along with putting together the show, I figured why not go along with faith? Okay, because that's what I am. I'm the Christian magician, so I have to put faith in there somehow. Because that's my goal is to spread the gospel to as many people as I can. And so we're going to be looking at Jesus' life throughout the course of the next week and building a magic show at the same time. Okay? And so without further ado, let's get into intros. Okay, so if you noticed at the beginning of the video, I simply just started out with this. And then I pulled it away slowly until you realized what was happening, and I explained it was a fidget spinner with a lighter with a fidget spinner attachment. And so it was cool, it was intriguing. And a lot of people tend to focus on the kicker ending, like what's the ending of my show? What is the outro? But they don't they don't really focus until like the last minute on what the intro is going to be. Like what's that kicker ending? They don't focus on how they're never going to get to that kicker ending if the audience isn't intrigued from the get-go. Like from that very first moment, if that audience is not intrigued, they're scrolling. Well, that's exactly what TikTok is now. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. It's if they are not intrigued within the first 2 seconds, they are scrolling. And it is steadily decreased on how long they will watch before they scroll. So this is what we've had to do as entertainers is figure out what people like. And so they like cool stuff, they like dangerous stuff. And so that's what I'm about with me tonight is some dangerous stuff, okay? Now, I should put on the warning of do not try this at home. No. All right, I apologize for that. I will put on the warning of do not try this at home, but to try it at school, you'll get a. No, I'm kidding. Don't try this out because this is a very dangerous trick, and I really should not be doing it on the porch. But oh well. And so as you can see, we're getting some flamey fluid, as I have to call it, per YouTube guidelines. Is hot fluid, but as you can see, according to the bottle, it is something much different. Okay, and so I will be doing my version of this tonight, and I will be showing you the gimmick and how everything works and the tutorial and everything right after. Okay, so I'm about to do my version. This is a trick called the appearing cane. Okay. Now, the version I am using is not something I created. It is just a very old prop that I love to use. Okay, and so without further ado, if I could get it on there. No, it does not go in that way. I was putting it on backwards. That's why. Without further ado, this is the appearing cane with a torch. That is, it is being a booger. All right, there we go. And so now, I think I put this in the opposite pocket. Why wouldn't I? All right, perfect. All right. So, what we're going to do, we're going to take the flame, light this other flame. It's going to get bigger here in a few minutes. Well, not minutes. I'm going to give it a couple seconds to get bigger. There we go. As you can see, I've got a flame here. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo! And then you look down the barrel to make sure the fire's out. All right, perfect. Fire's out. I couldn't leave it burning for too long because I could already hear, but it does. It starts burning. So originally, what it is it burns the fuel. Then it starts burning the cotton, and so we don't want that cotton to burn, or else the whole trick is ruined. But this is the principle we like to talk about. And we people see fire or danger or anything, something that catches their eye, and they're like, "What is that person doing?" Okay, so I've already got you watching, and so now I'm holding a thing of fire in my hand. Okay, and I'm going to do this one more time just to show the steps of how this worked. Okay, the reason you kept watching. Okay, now this doesn't work for everybody, especially because it's dangerous, but there are other things that catch people's attention. Okay, that's what we're talking about, is catching people's attention for the intro. Okay, or else they're going to be bored through your entire show. They're not going to want to pay attention because you didn't do something they thought was cool in the first thing. So I have to check and make sure I don't have to put any more fuel in this. Nope, perfect. Okay, so right here you can see I'm talking. I've got fire in my hand. And then all of a sudden, the fire disappears. Just make sure that's how it malfunctioned. But that's what I get for using a vintage prop. But the fire disappears all of a sudden, and I have a cane in my hand. Like, what? How does that happen? And so there are different ways people can react to this, but most of them, they will stop to watch at this point. Now, do I advise you to play with fire and a metal appearing cane that you can cut yourself with? No, I do not advise that. But instead, I'm going to take the banner off now of the do not try this at home, because this is a much safer option. Now, you will have to practice with this, but you can find these on Amazon. You just look up appearing cane magic trick. And most of the times, what you will see is this. Okay, now a lot of them are plastic, but if you find the good ones, they are metal. You could get a pack of the plastic ones for like $10 though, not bad. You could get one metal one though for the same price. So, and then unless you want a really good quality, you get spend like $15-$20 for a good metal one. That isn't vintage, won't cut you. Yeah. All right. And so you can see here, this little plastic piece holds it in place while it's in your pocket or whatever. It's got a little bump there. Okay. And just even this right here could catch people's attention. But there are other ways that I've used to do this, such as, and see, it's a really easy setup. I'll show you guys later how to do it. But you pull this out of your pocket upside down. This is, as far as I know, a secret method. Not many people have used it. You use your pinky to dislodge it. So this is upside down technically. So if you're just going to do the traditional toss it up and catch it, which you are going to need to practice, I will say that. If you're going to do that, this pin goes to the top. You dislodge it with your thumb. But for pulling it out of something like this hat here, you're going to dislodge it with your ring finger or your pinky, whichever is stronger. And you can see there, whoops, it already started to pop open. All right. But this is hidden in your hand. All right. It's not already sticking out. It's hidden in your hand. There we go. All right. So it's hidden in your hand. You come into the hat. You pinch the little end piece. And of course, you don't turn it towards the audience. You pull it, and then you turn towards the audience. Put the hat back on. And then you have full cane. There's a couple different ways you could do this. That's just one of the ways. One of my favorite ways is actually including your body, because then you don't need any extra props like a hat or a bag or anything. My other one is a chip bag, like Cheetos or Doritos or something like that. Something small, so that way it looks impossible. But I like this one. Oh, woo! There's that one. And then one last but not least, if you don't like your ears being touched, and your hands and the cane are clean. This is the other thing I must stress, because you could get sick from doing this if your hands and your cane are not clean. But, ow. Yeah, be careful. Don't let it shoot into your mouth either. Okay, and so what I'm doing there is I'm going to show you outside of my mouth, because it is a little tricky at first. You're going to release this just a little bit. So this is the roof of my mouth, or right here. This is the roof of my mouth. I'm going to release it and let it bump the roof of my mouth, because if I don't, it's going to hit one of my teeth, or I'm going to accidentally swallow it or whatever. And so then I'm going to let it just slowly open up as I'm just holding this piece as it's coming out of my mouth. Now, there are other ways if you're wanting to portray like a sword swallowing effect or whatever, like you've already swallowed something. You're just looking up to the sky as you first come out. Now, do not try this. Here, let me put that banner back on for this. Do not try this at all, because if you are not trained, this will not work properly. All right. So you come out with your hands like this. You're looking up like you're looking for something. And everybody knows this. As soon as you start putting something into your mouth or pulling something out of, they're going to suspect that it's all the way down your throat and like that. Because most people have seen sword swallowing. If they have not, please express this as much as you can to tell them to not try it, because they will go home and they will try to stick stuff down their throat, and it will not be pleasant, because you will get sued, and yeah. A whole bunch of legal stuff. That's why I have the do not try at home banner on. So that all being said, whoops, this is what that would look like. All right. And so I'm coming out on stage, looking around. Oh, man. Are we ready to get the show started? And so something like that. And then, okay, sorry, real quick. To close it, you're gonna start here. This is how it looks. This is the top of the cane, and then this is the bottom of the cane. It's got this little ball on the end. Top of the cane's got this. If you can't tell, generally the top of the cane's got some tape, to tape that silver piece on, or whatever color it may be. All right. And what it's gonna be is you're gonna rock back and forth, but as you're pushing together. And so once you've practiced this enough and you've gotten familiar with your specific cane, you can just do this super fast, and boom, that's done. And then once this is locked in place, this should not have any problems. Just make sure to lock it into that bump there, and you should be fine. All right. And so that is it on the torch to cane. As far as intros go, for biblical standpoint, Jesus had all this hype around it. And so this is where I'm basing off the intro to my show, and really any show, is you got to build a bunch of hype around it to get people interested. And Jesus had this bunch of hype around him to get people interested. Like, oh man, this is the Son of God. He's going to be born to a Virgin Mary. Like, what? Like, it perplexes people. Like, it doesn't make sense, and that's the perfect example for a magic show. Start with something that doesn't make sense, but it's so hyped up that they're ready for the rest of it. Like, they're ready for it to happen. They're ready for the rest of it. And so you come out with this, like, what? Where did that cane come from? Like, it just shot into midair and you caught it. Like, what? And then they're ready for the rest of your show. And so, if you do this, like, this is exactly how I would put together any show, really. Even any other form of entertainment besides magic. This is exactly how I do it. Hype up the intro as much as you can, and your fans will love it 100% more. And then, of course, we will see at the end of the week. You still want to have that kicker ending. I know I was mentioning at the beginning, everybody's focused on the kicker ending and not the kicker intro. You still want a kicker ending. I'm not saying don't have one. Just focus on the intro a little more. Give the intro a little more love, and you will be golden. Now, before we leave here tonight, and sorry, back to the faith thing real quick. He was going to be born to the Virgin Mary, and everybody didn't believe it. Like, what? A baby is going to be our king, our savior? He's going to save us from sin and death? Like, what? It doesn't make sense. And then they were waiting for the rest of his life to plan out, which we will start getting into tomorrow. Now, that being said, gonna fold up this metal cane here to show you how I did that first bit, the torch to cane. What I did, as you saw, is I put a little bit of lighter fluid in the, lighter fuel in the top of the cane here, on top of the cotton. There is a small hole in the bottom of this rod, as you can see. It's a little off center towards the top there, but that is so it can hook onto here. So what I would do in a real show thing to set this up is I would take the torch, would take this, set it up right behind my case, undo the pin. Now this is where it can get dangerous, because if this pops off, it's flying. So this is why it takes serious practice. You take this, you hook it on to this little hook here. There's a little hook right here. Oops, maybe. This is the hardest part, is getting it back off. All right, there we go. So you can see, maybe. Come on, show it to me. All right, there you go. You see, there's a little hook right there. Now, not all of these will have this hook. Just the torch to cane does, as it needs to hold that torch in place while the performer is lighting. And then, of course, you keep the cane in the same thing as a normal cane. All right, and then of course just takes practice. Once you've practiced with a regular cane, it will be almost similar. But where I'm going with this is because I don't want you to use fire. Try with a silk or something. So a lot of these will be called silk to cane, not torch to cane, but silk to cane, or not appearing cane, but once again, silk to cane. And yeah, a lot of times they will come with a crappy silk, or maybe just a ribbon or something, but it's something to start with until you can get a regular silk or something to that effect. But you want to draw people's attention and not just produce something out of thin air. And so that is where this comes into play. Of you take this, and there may be, I don't think there is, but there may be a little bit of fuel left in this. There is a baby amount of fuel in there. But you get their attention with something like this first. Something bright, colorful generally, to attract their attention. And then you do the trick. And so I'm going to do that to put the flame out. But yeah, and of course I could have just blown the flame out, but this is more fun. But that is going to be it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, whether it be about the biblical or the magical. And I will be there in the comments to answer them. Also, in the comments, I will be posting a link to where you can find some plastic appearing canes, or if you want to search for them, you could search for the metal ones. And that is going to be it, though, for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like, follow, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Peace, and have a blessed night.